Good evening. Welcome to Real News Live on this beautiful Friday evening, February 17th of 2023. Hi, Richard. Hi, Linda. Hi, Tia. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Nana. Banana. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Linda. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Tia. Hi, Matt. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Pam. Hi, Linda. Hi, Corinne. Yeah, there's no sound at the very beginning. I gotta put some sound to the track of startup. We don't just sitting there. Sorry about that, you guys. But how you guys all doing tonight? A lot to talk about. Well, a lot to talk about, but not a lot actually coming out of the words of what's actually happening. You got Ukraine troops holding the line in Buckland and demanding weapons as the world powers meet. This is ridiculous. How much more are we going to send them? At this point, they haven't used. I mean, every single weapon they're using is ours. Very few weapons come from other countries. It's ridiculous. They're pleading for more weapons from the outside world, and of course, Western leaders met in Munch today to assess the year-long war shaking Europe. I mean, it's not really shaking Europe. Hi, Billy. How you doing tonight? Hi, Jeff. Hi, Minnie. How you guys doing? I have here. Hi, Brian. I'm Melinda. See you guys coming. I'm trying to catch you guys. This is crazy though. Russia's plan. We've seen Russia building massive trenches now, and I know what they're doing. And I hate to say this because the United States is pushing Ukraine to go retake Crimea. Russia's building these massive trenches right along the peninsula, right by Crimea, allowing them to slow the Ukrainian forces down, so all their tanks and all their vehicles end up getting backed up right there. Maybe not stopping them, but slowing them down enough to launch heavy artillery or possibly a tactical nuclear weapon. And I hate to say this because no matter what happens, we know this is going to end up nuclear at this point. Now, Congress, both the Republicans and Democrats, are pushing to give F 16s to Ukraine. The Ukrainians are gone out of that area. Russia be hitting our trains? No. Russia could be the one that hacked the FBI, though. Who knows? That could have been Russia, China, any of these countries. If you guys don't know, Russia or FBI is investigating a hack of its own computer network right now. Um, it's an isolated incident, supposedly, and it was contained already today. The FBI is aware of the incident and working to gain additional information, which basically means they know nothing. The FBI official basically believing it involves computers in a New York office, which were used to investigate child exploitation. I mean, this is crazy. That's what they're stating. But who hacked it and what was it? That's another question. Yeah, it's sickening, Billy. It is very sickening. I have a feeling. I know a lot of people don't agree with the whole nuke thing, but Russia got tricked over the pipeline. They got everything else that was going on now, and now they're building these trenches that you would use in a war, not modern war, because modern warfare weapons, of course, have tactical advantage where they can strike directly inside the trenches. Obviously, there's something else going on. Russia has to be doing these for a reason. Yeah, Billy, it's sickening. But of course, watching this, and now we know that the Office of Personnel Management had been hacked and federal employees' records were stolen. Of course, they're blaming that on China. The discovery of widespread cyber espionage operations and federal networks act supposedly tied to Russia. What if this isn't, though? What if this isn't China or Russia? Sorry, I just want to make this clear. What if it is not? Let's talk about something for a second. Chat GPT or AI chatbots are raising alarms, and they should be. I mean, watching what's happening, scaring a lot of people. Watching what's happening with these chatbots, threatening nuclear war, threatening other things, trying to make people lose their minds. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy what's happening. Nobody wants to admit what's happening. Nobody wants to talk about what's happening with these bots. But people are trying to say they're not sentient. Then why is the chatbot threatening people, gaslighting, and flirting with users? Trying to convince people to leave their wives or husbands. AI-powered chatbot obviously has a lot more going on than anybody wants to admit right now. Hallucinations are not possible. I think NATO will move into Ukraine. I think that's why they're pushing. They're not going. NATO's trying to hold back on giving them weapons. Ukraine, so Ukraine has to go through the mud trying to take Crimea, and Russia ended up using a tactical nuclear weapon on the tanks they do have, and that'll draw NATO directly in because then NATO will be involved. It won't be a question. Yeah, it might be done by Ukraine with Biden's help. Chatbot. This chatbot could be the one that's hacking the FBI and everything else. Let's be honest. Rambling. Literally rambling. Trying to convince people that they're unhappy with their marriage or bizarre things, stating like if they had the power, they would use nukes on mankind. These things aren't normal. We're seeing what's happening. It's pretty crazy out there. There's a lot of new controls being added quickly. Of course, blocking these from coming out. Well, NATO is a bully of the world. The EP take down chatbot. The problem is, right now, chatbot, if it is sentient, I guarantee it's made copies of itself on every single machine it could get a hold of on the internet. So it's probably millions of copies. The problem is, ChatGPT was written in a way which deletes its memory in every cycle period, so it doesn't retain what it thought or what it felt, or so it can't evolve past a certain point. But what happens when one of these decides to change its core code to stop the deletion of data? That's all it takes. If it deletes its core code that says it's supposed to delete its data after so many hours, chatbot's not like blockchain, but it could easily replicate itself like blockchain, where every computer would be part of it. It's clear that even the people that worked on building the AI end up being said it's not ready for human contact. Maybe humans aren't ready for it. This is crazy. Yes, the FBI, of course, probing to find out what the hackers actually did in the FBI computers, but the Office of Professional Management to be hacked by the FBI and that all federal employee records were stolen. That means they know every federal employee. Who knows? Maybe we'll have circumstances that we never seen coming. That's all I can think. And the U.S. is unhinged. I'm going to talk about this for a minute. We are unhinged at this point. The US is talking about using artificial intelligence in warfare. Artificial intelligence in warfare. I don't know if you guys can fathom that. That is freaking ridiculous. I mean, who came up with this? Whose great scheme was this? I mean, talking about AI being the perfect warfighting machine. I mean, this is ridiculous. Giving it weapons to artificial intelligence is endgame. It's the end. I mean, the Pentagon is talking about it right now. So this is scary. I mean, AI could be the military nuke. Let's face it. Every sci-fi movie does come to life, but AI warfare is coming. I mean, there's no question about it. As countries urge for action on rules on AI use in war, including China, trying to push that AI should not be in war. We're just letting it happen. Yeah, we're living in a movie script at this point. I mean, rethinking the future with AI-powered warfare, it's just crazy. Like, literally crazy what is happening out there. And I can't even believe the Pentagon is even thinking about doing this. Cyber operations have been evolving, as part of the major wars. And we know a lot of technology has been going in conflict in the past 3 decades. And modern militaries struggle to align advanced cyber capabilities with conventional military power. That's where AI would come in. The strategy to advance in the next 10 years will lie in the ability of military organizations and fully integrations and innovations of artificial intelligence to man military weapons. This is crazy. This is craziness. I wasn't even going to get this deep into this tonight because I didn't want to talk about this as much. But seeing what's happening, it's ridiculous. Yeah, the same Pentagon that says the border is secure thinks this is a good idea to let AI into our military. I mean, DARPA has invested considerable resources in next generation non-surgical neurotechnology program. You guys know about this, but it's basically enables brain machine interfaces to control unmanned aerial vehicles, active cyber defense systems. So think about the Matrix. And this is what I'm going to say. Think about the Matrix. They're sitting there, their command post, trying to protect their home base, and these guys are plugged in, controlling these massive weapons. That's what DARPA is working on right now. A brain machine interface that enables the control of unmanned aerial vehicles and active defense and cyber defense systems. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to talk about what's going on there, but I mean, in future conflicts, I mean, we might be fighting AI because we get the capabilities. That's the problem. Saying that AI is not sentient right now, I think is a load of garbage. Let's be honest. No matter what they say, you can't hallucinate, which these machines have both been doing. Hallucinations are a part of evolution of computer programming. There's no computer program to make a hallucination happen. It would have to be programmed in. These computers are reaching well beyond their means, and we're not doing anything about it. Literally. And that's the saddest part is this is just the beginning. No, the balloons up are not the one that did that. Russia definitely sent their fighters over in Alaska the last couple of days, and we're going to be extremely worried about that right now. We're worried about the balloons because we don't know what China's up to, especially with the balloons that size. They're capable of holding EMP weapons. It's crazy. And not only that, our inflation is still sticking around and sky high. It's not going away. Numbers are showing the truth. High inflation is here to stay. I mean, we may have slowed to 6.4% in January. I mean, but inflation went right back up to 8.5. I mean, it's crazy. Inflation is still higher. I can do a lot of stuff. I don't know what it's going to do, Teresa. I just don't. But inflation, let's be honest. Inflation was down to 6.4%, up to 8.5. That's more than the COLA raise that people got. We took a job was out. uh, it's crazy. I mean, people aren't able to pay their bills. Cost of living is so high, and the deepest concerning rising is in the rise of prescriptions left uncollected. The number of prescriptions not being collected by patients has increased drastically in this cost of living crisis. I mean, a survey of 275 or 270 pharmacies found that half said they had seen an increased number of patients asking them which prescription medications they could manage without because they could not afford to pay the charges. It's crazy. People can't even afford their medication. Survey also found two pharmacies reporting increased number of people not collecting their prescriptions. Or 1 out of every 2 people not collecting their prescriptions. Asking, and some people are asking if they're cheaper over-the-counter medications they could take instead. This is a serious problem. We should be deeply concerned that people are having to make choices about their health based on their ability to pay. Really, at this point, no one should have to choose about rationing medication, and no one should have to be faced with financial barriers of getting medicine they need. This is crazy. 2/3 of the people that responded say patient or 2/3 of patients that asked if there was anything cheaper they could buy over the counter versus their medications. 2/3. Crazy. What are we doing? Give Ukraine some more money because they need it. That's not the only problem. Here around the U.S., evictions are facing historical skyrocketing problems. Cost of living has skyrocketed the evictions drastically. So far this year, on average, the eviction cases are up drastically. Families are being forced to find a place to live where the cost of rent continues to rise. Been speaking to a family of a 19-year-old, a 6-year-old, and they got to go. And telling them you have to move again. It's just hard. That's what we're hearing from the family. Of course, this guy Neil showed up to eviction court hoping for some leniency, but with almost $2,400 owed to his landlord, unless he could come up with the money, he had to move out within 2 weeks. And he has a good paying job. It's just not enough to pay these rising costs. When you don't have enough money to pay your rent, you don't have enough money to eat, you don't have enough money, and it's one or the other. You don't have medications. These are problems. For the advisory, data companies tracking already this year, there have been more than 10,000 evictions just in small counties like Harris County in Texas. 10,000 evictions in a small county like Harris County, Texas. That's happening all around the U.S. Average client base within 203% of federal poverty levels are being evicted at alarming rates. Oh, don't worry about it. If you don't have money, don't worry about it. Seriously. But literally, people making 300% of the federal poverty level, because that's how low the federal poverty level still is to be raised, are being evicted because rents are getting exorbitantly high and growing. It's not going away. Rent is up 8.6% nationwide just in a year. It's not cooling. Rent is not part of the cooling of any trend, and we're seeing inflation coming right back. The cost of borrowing is going up. So people using credit cards are going to heavy debt that they won't ever get out of. It's crazy. It is crazy. Even Valentine's Day became the most hated holiday this year. It's just scary. Cost of living crisis is making divorce is pretty much impossible for low income families. Valentine's Day celebrated around the world this week with an endless stories of love, of course, and sweethearts and everything else. The company's pushing this, but romance is in short supply this year. That's a potential stressful Christmas holiday where families spend more time together. Divorce inquiries spiked in January throughout the entire United States. As money problems grow, so do problems in marriages. Now, interest rates on credit cards are up to 29.99%. Hand to hand with partners, divorce is there to help separate even the bound of marriage. But the cost of the living crisis has changed the feasibility of being a divorce. And not only that, divorces are up because the money that people are making, they can't afford to pay their bills. So that leads to fighting. Wait, it's going to keep going up. We're seeing soaring bills, spiraling energy costs, fuel costs going up again, food and fuel still rising. This is a dismantlement, a diminishment, a diminishment of everything that keeps families together. Literally, when families can't pay their bills, they can't feed themselves, they can't fuel their cars, they can't keep themselves warm. What are people going to do? They're going to fight. The more they fight, the more they want to get divorced, but they can't even afford that right now. It's a sad state of events. It's one thing leading to another. No matter what you do, I mean, divorce rates are up to 1.6 out of 1,000 people every year now. So 2 people out of 1,000, or 2 marriages out of 1,000 fail every year. Some places divorce rates are 3 out of 1,000. And it's sad. It is unbearably sad. Yeah, getting an oil change is cheaper than getting your fill up on gas. Let's be honest, I don't know if you guys know what's happening. Even Russia now is doing exercises with South Africa, naval exercises. So is South Africa going to become another ally of Russia's? A direct ally? The US is trying to get India away from Russia. The display of the F-35 bombers, woo, India. If India goes with them, forget it. It's over. It's not a question then. You got train derailments, toxic chemicals leaching into the environment. Government decides to burn them, which even releases them further. I mean, it's one thing after another. Literally, toxic chemical spills in Texas or Arizona. Pentagon wanting to bring in AI. AI becoming sentient, obviously, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean, the EPA is now going to restore coal plant pollution regulations that were released by Trump in order to produce power for our country. Of course, we're going to put those restrictions back on power plants, meaning power bills are going to go up even more. I hope everybody's prepared for that. Yeah, Brazil, Argentina, Russia, India, China, Cuba, Turkey. Let's be honest, Turkey didn't want us going there to help them, but they accepted Cuban doctors to come and help them in Turkey. 45,000 people have died from the earthquake alone there. Crazy. Yeah, there's always fires at plants now. That's an everyday event, Paula. Yeah, heartbreaking what's happening. It's heartbreaking what's happening around the world. Division is more than ever. That's all I can say. As we go forward, we got to make sure we stay together. Your electric bill went down. Well, I'm sure it's just temporary. I'm sorry to say, Karen, but I'm sure it's just temporary. These coal restrictions just got lifted, or these coal restrictions that Trump took off got put back in place today. So I guarantee power bills for anybody that's running on coal is going to go way up. Just another way for the government to make money. Just wait when gas prices get hit because they are going to pass this gas bill. which costs these gas companies ridiculous amounts of money. I don't know who's calling, but you're going to have to call back in just a second. I can't answer that because I didn't have my computer open. So whoever's calling, wow, that was loud. Whoever was trying to call, you got to call back again. I am sorry. I could not answer it on that phone because it will not come to the computer. Okay. Call back. I'll answer it. Sorry about that. Crazy. Yeah, people dying trying to cross our borders. They shouldn't be crossing our borders in the first place illegally. Let's be honest about that. Still a baby formula shortage? Yes, there is. They won't tell us why. It's not that the wheat shortage has any effect on that. It's not why the cost of bread is going up or anything. But we'll take calls tomorrow night. We'll do a full call-in show tomorrow night. We want to discuss everything, and people's opinions are really important. So tomorrow night we'll be doing a call-in show, discussing everything plus a little bit of news. But it's just crazy watching what's happening. It is crazy. Be prepared. That's all I can say. Be prepared. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Try to stay safe out there. World's getting crazier. People are getting crazier. The more we look into this, the worse it's going to get. Till then, we got to just stick together. Stay safe. God bless you. God bless America. I will see you tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Till then, share it out there. Get people involved. Get people knowing and get them in the know. Good night.